Good afternoon, and today the last day for this Atisha's work. And first I need to read rest of the text. Pumbo gamada jeje nama jewa meba toju bari de chuna shiru yeba jewa rime de meba ngamade niga nyeba niga teju niga da jan juwa me ngo ran le me niga le jan me ju me le me de jingo bo ni jingo ni jira ji me yana chena de da de nam je na dong no ni me be ya ra ji me ba ni de dong ji ji ba ma za wa zo le jan ngo bo nam ji ra ji dong ni de ru je ba kan je ju ne mo ju be de ji de ma ra Tribute to the subject of Gubjana to Janamali, Raji, Raji, Zaname, Dame, Comagani, Shirava Gamba, Shirajun, Kanga, Raji, Matu, Shirajun, Tini Rijep, and Nantome, but the Gomaja, Nantologist with the number, Nantologist with the number of the Samaritava, Yanga Joy, Nantoma, Jimbo, and Courage, the Zeland of Thompson. Tamjun de la Jeve say number of the Mito, some June, and Namto to the Rinjim, Mito, Sabanju, Lundarabana, Genum, such a Jim, Jim Evangelion, and number of Tomacombas, Tetera, Tinigom, Rigid to the Sanjis and Yimir, Sanjis and Sanjis Yimir. Not only to be a jet, just or Lennon, just to pass on rulers, just to Doji, the also. Chawaji Jizu Kate, Sangaje, the Zelobon, Nigori, the Lam Lama Nebajo, the Gonatan, was to do Candy, Thomas, because someone she wrong and some of the Lameza, Kate, one go to the Catanjo, Catalan, Jabber Jewish, Catodomba, Tenyam Te, Tishu, Jan, Pambato, and Jevetan, and Song Ejebe. Natanang as on Edo, Tavana Yama, Jugunya, the Jizich, Lama neither and never met them. Those are chilly she and Tom and Chanju said and Chanju Lamshin to do this, Roger Pemazation, never told the Jago. She also cannot go to Juju, then above. So now today, first I'll try to make a very short summary. And he's talking about, Atisha is talking about analysis of the emptiness, wisdom, which is wisdom. This 47 verses. And then he explained about the way to, about the condition of phenomena. This starts from the 48, 49 onward, up to I would say 53. And with the 54, he emphasized about meditation without concepts, and how worse to have concepts. This comes from 55 onward till 58, and in 59 he shows the result of meditation on emptiness. And from 60 onward till to end, deals with Tantra up to 67. 68 is more or less some kind of colophon. So therefore, in order to explain emptiness, it is very important to know first with verse 55 onward. This part of explanation, actually basic explanation for the proper understanding of emptiness. He mentioned here, samsara existed from the concepts. Therefore, samsara is the nature of concepts. That means they are full of concepts is samsara. And due to, okay, that's it. And then, because of that, one needs to overcome all the concepts. Without having concepts or totally remove concepts is best nirvana. Then also it is very important to understand of the verse 56, right? And the concepts are very strong or very big ignorance. That means it's a very deep ignorance. Or maybe better to say, all concepts arise from the ignorance. Ignorance is the source of all concepts. Through the ignorance, one falls down in the ocean of samsara. Without having concepts, exists in the concentration. And this kind of concepts are very clear like a sky. So this word is also very, very important. So that means now we're talking about two subjects. One is concepts, another one is free from the concepts. And when we are talking about concepts, that means all kind of defilements. This is actually quite clear, and I don't think that we need to go further deep. The second, free from concept, this is rather difficult to understand. And if we couldn't understand properly, there's also danger to misunderstand. So, however, there are few kinds of free from concept. Not focusing to any object is also some kind of free thought or free concept. And not focusing of certain object which distract you for your meditation. This is also another kind of free from concept. And then there's also the way which you are focusing on the object which distract you, proper understanding of emptiness. This is also free from concepts. So now we have three already there. Then at the end, as soon as you reached proper understanding of emptiness, or maybe better to say, after the realization of emptiness, you will remain on that state, in the state of emptiness, without engaging, without apply, without engaging with any other objects, any other than emptiness. So that means in the fourth stage, you're just focusing the proper understanding of emptiness, you will remain in that state. This is also a kind of free-from concept. The fourth explanation of free-from concept is actually deepest level of free-from concept that we also need when we reached, when we have, as soon as we have all how should I say, if all factors are there in order to focusing such a deeper level, so then we need to apply this kind of meditation. I'll explain more later. Good example is Mahamudra practice. I think we can say there are at least 2 levels of Mahamudra. The highest Mahamudra level is the practitioner reached already emptiness, and through this realization, focused on his mind, and not only his mind, but the emptiness of the mind as well. In that moment, there will be a special state of combination which object and subject are combined. In that moment, you can't make totally difference between the object and subject, because special meditation power, it's merged both object, both condition of object and subject into one. This kind of state, you only be able to reach through the maybe I can say you can reach this state with help of tantric technique of the meditation. It would not be possible only through the sutra channel, but one need to apply tantric method. I know this is quite difficult to understand, but one need to survive with this kind of explanation. And the emptiness is not a subject that we properly understand only through a few sentences or only through the explanation, but through the several explanations, and one need to think about that. Think about the subject. One need to put it into your practice. One need to obtain special experiences. From the experience, you will get a special view to the way of observing through the emptiness to the objects, and again you need to apply more and more in meditation, and at the end, so you will see a little bit light very further down there, just like if you see from the tunnel, and a very long tunnel, as far as tunnel was straight, right? So you can see from the one end to other, at the end there's you see some light. There's many dark range to overcome, or to pass these dark places. But at the end there's a light. So likewise, we will need to so much effort to reach the light at the end of the tunnel. So likewise, to really got taste of emptiness takes much time, not only effort through the proper understanding and study and meditation, but also one needs to apply for so much accumulation of merits. Second part of Mahamudra that I mentioned just now is watching from your mind on your mind. This part of this kind of meditation is more or less basic Mahamudra meditation. This is a very skillful method in order to achieve the first meditation of Mahamudra, which is very much linked, or totally linked with emptiness. Generally speaking, when we are talking about subject, then of course a person with his or her mind. This is the subject. Object is mostly external things. But in this case, Mahamudra case, one focused from mind, on his own mind, not mind by the others, but his own mind. So that means at the end it's both subject and objects are more or less the same. Same in the sense of mind. So because of that, for instance, our Nyingmapa tradition has very beautiful wording to use, to apply, or to make clear this kind of a meditation. How should I explain in English? Introduce, identification your own face. More or less something like that. Thus, identification your own face means I identify my own face. I, in the sense of my mind, and my own face, not the external face that we have a physical part, but the really face of your mind. This small word has so much, have a so deep meaning. We have same wording in Vajrayogini. Recitation of, how should I say, wishing part. Can I say like this? At the end there's some long wish, right? So one of these verses ended with, I wish to protect after I recognize my face. Something like that.
No.
I wish that I protect myself after I recognize my face. Yeah. I started to explain emptiness this way because this kind of explanation is very much linked with tantric understanding, or maybe we can say it's a linked tantric meditation, which is after all really proper understanding, proper meditation of emptiness. As I mentioned earlier, generally speaking, subject, mental part, objects are external things, right? So that means subject wouldn't as object wouldn't never have a mental part. But from the tantric point of view, or from the tantric understanding, both subject and object have mind nature. Both subject and object have same nature, nature of mind. So that means this kind of explanation, not explanation, but understanding, is very much linked, non-dualism condition.
就没有二取见，对不起，是没有二取见呢，是息息相关的。
The view with dualistic is hindrance, because from the relationship between subject and object keeping distance. Because of that, the object have a certain power to involve, to deal with, to involve or to deal with the mind. So that means object can influence subject very much. So therefore, it produces so much struggle in the samsara. Non-dualistic view in Tantra is, I think, somehow related with Chittamatra views. At least there's similarities, or Chittamatra background. So, however, it's a great help to understand like this. But it doesn't mean that all objects turn into mind position, or maybe better to say, the objects transferred into mind nature from the ordinary phenomena state into mind state. It's not that means. It doesn't say this kind of transformation. But one understands through the appearance, and appearance. That means the tantric practitioner, with a proper understanding of emptiness, he or she is in the position to accept everything existed from his meditative state. This explanation is very strongly connected with basic structure of tantric meditation. So that means if we meditate in Tantra, number one, really basic, number one is only the way is generating of emptiness, right? Generating of emptiness, realization of emptiness, if it's possible, of course. But otherwise, you generate, you think about, think on emptiness. And through this meditation, you would understand whether how deep is another question, but somehow, however you will understand about emptiness, this understanding of emptiness, this understanding, which is mind nature, which has mind nature, right? This understanding turn into the transformation of Ditya Yoga. In that case, you are not generating this physical body and your this physical mental disposition into the Ditya Yoga. Of course, there are certain connection, but maybe it's not necessary to speak today because I'm not supposed to explain about Tantra at this moment, maybe later at the end. So, however, as I mentioned right now, this understanding of emptiness is only source of all Ditya Yogas. So therefore, whatever you find in Ditya Yoga, whatever you see in Ditya Yoga, have always only mind nature. There's no other physical nature in the Tantra world. In the Tantra world, in Tantra scene, whatever you see, nature of pure nature, and that means pure nature and mind nature, right? So that means, just as an example, if I'm a good practitioner, a good Tantra practitioner, I can, of course, observe beautiful buildings or very bad buildings or whatever, different objects. At that moment, the external object not turn into the mind position. These are remain as solid one. But from my view, it's transformed into certain level, into certain nature. Just an example, if you are a very good day, very good mood one day, then at that moment, just say one got such a high, big amount of lottery, whatever, right? And the people is very, very happy, delighted so much. In that moment, even the weather is not very good, absolute all right, he feels very happy. And whatever he or she sees, some kind of happy nature. And if you are really in a bad mood, everything is something wrong. Even you see best friend, it doesn't help him to get happy feeling. So somehow he feels like he inclined to distant from him or her, right? So this is because of his experience. So likewise, this is, of course, there's big gap between this ordinary explanation and the really pure experience. There's big gap, but little similars can be found. Proper understanding of this kind of deeper level, one need to more relaxed explanation or more simple explanation about emptiness. So therefore, we can talk about another level of concept and free from concept. And concepts generally, as I mentioned, many different kinds of, or any different kinds of defilements. And free from concept means not involved from any of these defilements, but your mind is quite clear, without distraction, without interruption from these precepts. If I may use following explanation, I'm not sure whether it's correct or not, but what I feel is can be useful. In order to achieve free from concepts, we need certain kind of concepts, which is those concepts which are helpful in order to proper understand of free from concept. This kind of concepts are should not be involved from the precepts. What I mean is, in order to achieve Mahamudra, or maybe better to say, while you are meditating Mahamudra, you have to have concentration on your mind, from your mind, as I mentioned earlier. At that moment, you don't follow on the past experiences. You don't look forward to the future, but you remain just in presence. Whatever you forget about that. Whatever you, but you don't follow the past experience. You don't looking for the future, but you just remain in the present experience. Which experience? That experience is without having any precepts. So this is the one possibility to search the emptiness condition. The another possibility, which is a very vast practice, is according to Nagarjuna's tradition. That means you are focused very much interdependence condition of interdependence, and existing through only by naming and maybe we can say accepts. Interdependent or dependent condition is there are many kind of many way to analysis or to analyze. So such as are dependent from the many different kind of shape, kind of form, kind of color, and kind of existence, other existence, and including small particles and different kinds of directions in order to exist from each of our phenomena. For example, there's no single object which can exist or which can show us always truth. So that means, for example, such as long. Long means some kind of a measurement, but it's, to accept, to understand or to accept long, you must compare with some others. This kind of long is from, if you compare with other, it's short. And here, there, big and small. Everything is dependent. So there's no, for example, if you say here, it can be out there from the other point of view, other position. There's no really, I don't remember I don't remember the English terminology, but there's not true existence as always there, always long, always short. So therefore it shows for us there's no true nature of this and that. And then also to analyze certain object, such as a person, right? One girl is born. At that moment, just an example, she doesn't have, or she doesn't got a name, but everybody can say, oh, there's a very small girl. Just from the description you can identify, but you can't make it more than you don't have any other method to analyze, to identify. But after some time, the parents or whoever named her as Maya. Since that time, whenever you see this small girl, or the Maya is there. Maya is sleeping, Maya is crying, or Maya is laughing, or whatever. So suddenly, Maya existed from with combination of this small person. So that means to exist as Maya, this person, was totally dependent on the naming. Through the naming, she became Maya. So therefore, we can accept, we can grasp on that. Maya did that, Maya did this, and so on. So everything started with the name. So it shows actually from itself, from object itself, there's no reliable, very steady existence, but only through the naming. So I was able to meet one Tibetan Rinpoche. His name is Kyabgeon Rinpoche. I never met him before and didn't even see his picture. And when I see first time, from my view, oh, there's a monk. So someone introduced me, this is Kyabgeon Rinpoche. After that minute, whenever I see him, or Kyabgeon Rinpoche, this suddenly appears, this is Kyabgeon Rinpoche with the person connected, and whenever I see him, Kyabgeon Rinpoche appears more or less from his object side. Of course, this is my wrong view, but this is generally. And as Mr. Obama, before he was, at least lately, he was president candidate, right? And whenever we see him, he's governor of this and that, Mr. Obama. But after his election as U.S. president, whenever I see him again, U.S. president, so Mr. President appears after naming, only through name. He didn't change. He did not become some kind of bigger or shorter or whatever, older or whatever. That hasn't changed anything, but just overnight, or actually in a second, he just became Mr. President. This also through this naming existed. Then, so therefore, after that time, this is some sort of normal condition of existence or communication between subject and object, more or less at a neutral level. But now, defilements come into the involvement. So just an example, Mr. Obama is a wonderful person. And some others, he's very bad, he's black, whatever. All these different perceptions come into the identification. So therefore, people were or are in the position to increase attachment to Mr. Obama or hatred to Obama. So everything comes through this identification. After you are generated or realize the emptiness, you will see, still you can see, you can distinguish between good and bad and all these things. But you wouldn't increase any defilements because of this identification. You will see, although you can see good and bad, these qualities, but you will remain very neutral. So because of that, you are not accumulate bad deeds. All in all, if I say in brief way, it does exist, but it doesn't exist. It does exist this way. No, it does exist, but it doesn't exist this way. These are two things need to be distinguish. It does exist in the sense of this existence remain in the framework of naming and understanding of this object. And totally dependent. It doesn't exist this way means this identification that we are usually having is wrong. So that means each of these objects have very strong power to exist, to show us I'm here, something like this. And because of this position, we will be able to grasp on that. We are thinking that there's something to grasp, to hold on, because the object existed very strongly from itself and totally independent, very solid. So this way of thinking is wrong view. We will be deceived through this kind of perception, through this kind of observation. So therefore, we will be able to accumulate so many, we will be able to increase increase so many attachments, and we will be able to accumulate bad deeds because of, on the basis of attachment and hatred and so on. While we are thinking there's something to hold, to behold, there's something to grasp. I can attach on that. It gives me such a happy or pleasure feeling, or it gives me such a bad feeling, so there so much hatred can be generated in my mind because of this object, because I rely so much, too much on this object. So therefore, all these complications come out. So that's much for about emptiness. And now the necessity, the combination of wisdom and method. As Atisha mentioned a few occasions here, for instance, bodhicitta conducts, such as perfection of givings up to concentration, which is number fifth of paramita, right? And many other bodhisattva conducts belongs to the method. Without having wisdom as combination, as combination, couldn't achieve any Buddhahood. And without having all these method parts, only wisdom, you also couldn't achieve the Buddhahood. Such as 42, 43, and then maybe also 44. 42 and 43 are main explanation of this matter. I think this is a very good time to explain some basic knowledge or basic understanding. So that means usually we're talking about basic, path, and result, these three. When we're talking about basic, that means our level. And our level means we are living with combination of body and mind, which is impure, which are impure, which are as a result of bad karma and defilements, which I had in my previous lives. This kind of combination with the physical condition and mental condition are samsaric productions. So that means through, as I mentioned just now, through the bad karma, bad thoughts, produced this particularly kind of state. But this state is not at all nature of nature, just nature. So that means this some kind of temporarily state. So that means we can change, we can achieve better condition. So this better condition can only be this, but the best condition of this mind and body is Buddha's mind and Buddha's body as a result. In order to achieve this highest condition of fully purified body and mind can achieve through the accumulation of wisdom and method. As I mentioned last days, all practice which are connected with the physical things, external things, as well as some part of meditations belongs to the accumulation of a method. So that means, for example, giving some donation or support to the needed person, or making offerings, different kinds of offerings, and meditation on loving kindness, and for immeasurable practice, and whatever meditation on impermanence, is all major part of lamrim meditation belongs to the accumulation of method. Meditation on emptiness is accumulation of wisdom. Or impure or impure, I think, right? Impure condition of physical level. What am I going to say? That's right. Purified with the accumulation of method, and as a result, we will achieve the Buddha body, Buddha's body. The impure condition of mind will be purified through the wisdom. We will achieve Buddha's mind. If we understand this communication properly, so then we will understand the really very strong link between myself and my future Buddha, and accumulation that I apply in order to achieve my result. So all this communication will be very clear. So through this way, we can see, we can find there is possibility to achieve Buddhahood. From the verse number 60 onward, up to end, it's Tantric practice. So therefore, I just explain now the accumulation of both merits, wisdom. In our sutra practice level, we only be able to accumulate side by side, separately. But we will be able to accumulate together in Tantra. So because, as I mentioned earlier, when we generate deity yoga, we are focusing on the emptiness. The quality of deity yoga is only emptiness. So because of that, we are focusing on emptiness, accumulation of wisdom, and because that we are focused on the deity yoga itself, this is the accumulation of method. According to 61, in order to fulfill the accumulation of Buddha, accumulation of Bodhi, that means Bodhisattva practice. If you want to practice Tantra, you need to according to Tantra. That means Kriya, Yoga, Charya, and Mahamudra Yoga Tantra, step by step, need to be practiced. One need to receive empowerment or Wang in order to get into the mandala, in order to get into the Tantra. And then, of course, according to your own Vajramaster's instruction, you need to apply all Tantra methods, put into your practice, and you will achieve all siddhis. And from 64 onward, he explains that one need to practice proper way according to your mental disposition. And whether you are nun or monk or however, accordingly you received we received initiations or empowerment accordingly. So that means Tantra practice, more or less I must say, in brackets, theoretically, you need to practice whenever you are ready to practice. So that means without having fundamental understanding and experience to join high-level Tantra wouldn't achieve very strong result. Theoretically, first one needs to practice fully, practice sutra up to reach to fully qualification, and after that one can start with Tantra practice. But whether it's good or not, no idea. This is a different subject. We in Tibet have such a tradition, practice both sutra and Tantra side by side. It is absolute incorrect. I have not much time, maybe not much time to live. So therefore I'm not focusing on the sutra part, especially lamrim part. I just want to start with Tantra and 100% only on Tantra and accumulate mantra as many as possible. This is absolute incorrect. More or less according to our level, one never be good enough to practice lamrim. So therefore our basic practice need to be lamrim, and on top of that we can have some good taste of Tantra. Atisha said, although to one disciple, although you have such a stable meditation, although you have such a stabilized meditation, and that even someone beat drum very near to your ear, you wouldn't disturb it. So you will be still in the meditation. That's not, I wouldn't be surprised. Without having really belief or faith or proper understanding of bodhicitta, all meditation has no power. So he said, whenever you feel loving kindness to let's say, many people, I wouldn't say all sentient beings, that may be sometimes too big, too large. And whenever you meet your colleagues or your friends and relatives, you always feel very loving kindness, you are friendly, and you never feel that you never feel any tendency to quarrel with them. So this is the certain really result of Dharma practice. Without having this kind of really solid appearances, instead of that, just you focus on the tantric meditation, such as Vajrabhairava or so, and you are focused so much on your deity yoga in the Vajrabhairava, and whenever you go out from the door, or maybe you have some hesitation whether you hit your head to the door or whatever. This is not very important. This is actually wrong meditative result. So for many years ago, one Polish man who pretends my disciple, whatever, and he would like to practice very, very strongly, and he regarded His Holiness as his teacher and me as well. So therefore, he wishes that His Holiness head and my head put together somewhere on the deity. So he has some problems. So he asked me, how could I do the best way? The both heads put side by side or whatever. So this kind of thinking is absolutely nonsense. So it shows that his meditation is just gone through the side street. So however, it is important to make a clear understand about emptiness. Please study thoroughly about Tsongkhapa's three principle text. Among these texts, verse number 11, 12, 13, these three are most important part. So you must study, you must read it again and again, try to understand it properly. Thank you very much. So now, if you have a few questions.
Rinpoche, I read through and I noticed that paragraph 28 says, I shall cultivate pure conduct, giving up wrongdoing and desire. But when I reach paragraph 64, the last two lines says, those observing pure conduct should not take the secret and wisdom initiations. Can you clarify this?
So you're talking about 64 and?
28.
28. 28, okay. So that means about 28 we don't need discuss that much. But still, for example, if you are a monk or nun, so you have a certain disciplines. So therefore 64. Therefore 64. This secret empowerment and wisdom empowerment giving in the real, not through the symbolical way that we are using generally, but real. But this kind of practice, I don't think that we have any more in the practice. But maybe in the ancient time, Indian time, they're using such technique given by giving real initiation. So therefore, this kind of initiation are not allowed to give those who are ordained. And as we can read in 67, the last stroke, those who achieve the, how should I explain? What is translated? Those who ... without what did it say? Where is it? 60. Yes. There's no fault if one who has received the preceptor in initiation is his knowledge. So has knowledge. This has knowledge is means a special achievement. Special achievement of Tantra level. And those who achieve this kind of state, it's not binded under the discipline rules. Do you understand what I'm talking about? If you have reached a certain level, so there's no discuss whether he or she allowed or not. This is beyond that. Okay, please. Yes.
Okay. Single-pointed meditation is important to achieve shamatha and lead on to realize emptiness of all phenomena. Analytical meditation, mind-cultivating meditation helps to transform or tame the mind, and that leads to higher level of renunciation, in-depth understanding of dharma, and becoming a good human being. My question, as a beginner or someone new to Tantra practice, or even as a, I think it means a beginner, which type of meditation should we start off with, and how should I go about doing the meditation? What are the importance of both types of meditations?
So these are not alternative, although they have some, although they have a different, how should I say, effect or meaning or focusing, but we need to apply alternatively. Is it correct? Alternative. First this, the second that, then again come back and this with change. And you can't, that means we can't say, as a beginner it's always important, analytical, single points not important, or other way around. So we need both. But we can't start with single-pointed meditation, but we need to start with analytical. But there's also a limit. We shouldn't go far more or endless, deep, only analytical. It is a hindrance. Analytical meditation need to find some base to meditate to meditate with a single point mind. And that means through this analytical meditation, you will get just a rough idea. Then you shouldn't follow up further deep. Just keep on that position and keep try to single point meditation, meditate single point. And after you achieve some kind of stabilization, so then you need to follow up again deeper level of analytical meditation, and so turn by turn. So after that we have a few questions. Question number 1, how many times can one take refuge vows? The answer is one take refuge. Sometimes we are talking about refuge vows, but this is although we are naming like this, we are using this kind of terminology, but taking refuge is not real vows. But this is not the main point. We can take refuge as many as possible, as many as we can. There's no limit. If I have more than one refuge name, which do I use? You can change weekly. But this is just not important. Receiving refuge name is some kind of to remembrance. So it's whatever you like, you can choose. I don't understand this question properly. Must I be ready before taking Tantra vows? What be ready?
What do I do to practice to be ready? How do we get ready for Tantra?
Okay. In order to take Tantra vows, one must have proper understanding of bodhicitta and very good experience about very good feeling or experience about lamrim. So, however, we have some kind of degenerated way of practice. In ancient time, during the Indian time, first Master introduced bodhicitta vows, the rule of bodhicitta vows and rule of Tantra vows, and let them study, let them think about that. And after they are convinced to receive, then give the vows. So now there's no one ask whether you are ready or not. The last question, whether we have a tantric initiation in our program or not. So yes, we have a tantric initiation or empowerment has planned as long as I will live without dying. So that's the precondition. But without tantra vows, because lower tantra initiation or empowerment. Could you kindly clarify what's vipassana? Is vipassana same as vipassana? I think you are the person, right person, because this is a Sanskrit word.
It's just different spelling, it's the same word.
Yes. So maybe someone would like to write this, another one would like to write that. I have no idea. I'm sorry about that. Vipassana, is vipassana a form of meditation? A form of meditation? Yes. Because in vipassana there are both analytic meditation and single-pointed meditation. Therefore, it is yes. We can say yes.
The spelling comes because it's different. One is Pali, one is Sanskrit.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Thank you very much.
Any more questions?
No more questions.
Okay.
So please dedicate.
Okay, Rinpoche, please stay long so that you can give us more initiations.
Well, we need to talk. We need to talk